This week, when faced with the task of choosing among the most influential and popular TED Talks of all time, I instantly thought, excellent. Let me choose the talk that got Rupert Sheldrake banned from TED. Originally a biochemist, Rupert Sheldrake gained notoriety in the 80s for his research in parapsychology and his unique theory of morphic resonance. This theory envisions reality as permeated by invisible, subtle energetic fields in which memories are compiled. And these memories, in turn, then influence various kinds of natural processes and formations. The TED Talk that Sheldrake presented was called The Science Delusion, and it was filmed in 2013. After he came out on stage, Sheldrake proceeded very casually, calmly, and ruthlessly to annihilate all of the major assumptions of scientism and materialism of the modern day. He did this by briefly explaining 10 dogmas, and he did this in an energetic pace so that the audience could follow him and keep engaged. His presentation definitely achieved this purpose because a group of scientism pushers became so offended that they decided they had to cancel his talk. This group was called the TED Scientific Board. And they did this by labeling him with the dirty word that's often used against scientists who challenge the status quo, and that is pseudoscience. But as people often say colloquially, if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. So Sheldrake's talk was definitely successful, in my opinion. First and foremost, because he kept unyielding confidence from beginning to end. He presented in a reasonable pace, and he seemed professional and relaxed, keeping one hand inside the pocket of his jacket and the other gesturing to the rhythm of his speech. Interestingly, he was also standing barefoot on a mat of fake grass. The stage was also set to look like a forest behind him. I think this symbolically represented his groundedness, which definitely exuded in his demeanor. More than anything, however, Sheldrake was successful because he was able to integrate humor and personal anecdotes into his presentation with success. He recounted many funny details and stories of interviewing and challenging certain scientists to change their assumptions. And he presented these assumptions as sarcastic one-liners to the audience. The audience, upon realizing the ridiculousness of these assumptions, erupted in laughter. Some of these one-liners went as such. Over the past 100 years, philosophy of mind has been working very hard to prove that mind and consciousness doesn't exist at all. Or, the content of all matter and energy in the universe remains the same and never changes, except for the one instant of the Big Bang when it all miraculously and gloriously just came into being out of nowhere. And finally, we in science don't like to use the phrase fudge the results. We much rather prefer the term intellectual phase locking. So by the end of the presentation, the audience was left feeling as if they had just witnessed a performance of a seasoned comedian, rather than a stodgy, fancy pants scholar. In fact, to me, Sheldrake began to resemble more his British compatriot, Mr. Bean, perhaps a wiser version though. He made stuffy science seem approachable and likable. And so he didn't only display intuitive insight into the nature of reality, he likewise used cheeky wit and rebelliousness to challenge untruths of the masses. And for this, he may have become banned from TED, but he gained the respect of many people all over the world who understood his deeper purpose. And he will always be remembered as a paradigm shifter. Thank you.